So there's a moral argument which says that if you do not initiate force against others, you're not doing anything wrong fundamentally. It may be unwise, but it's not immoral. And so if I stab myself, nobody charges me with assault. And if I ingest a drug that may not be great for me in the long term, but enhances my happiness in the moment, may be something worthy of intervention. It may be unwise, but it's not immoral and worthy of jail. There's an old saying from Confucius says, the beginning of wisdom is to call things by their proper names. The war on drugs is not the proper name. It's not a war on drugs. If I get caught with a pound of cocaine, it's not the cocaine that goes to jail. It's not a war on drugs. It's a war on people. And it's a war on a very... Now, people who are attempting to self-medicate a physical brain injury should not be sent to jail. At all. There is a sadism in the war on drugs in that we are finding people who were traumatized as children, who are self-medicating themselves the only way they know how, the only way they can, and we are subjecting them to persecution, confinement, trauma, stress, which is exactly the conditions which brought about their susceptibility to addiction in the first place. That is, I would argue, morally revolting. People who are attempting to self-medicate for brain injuries sustained as children should be given our support, our sympathy, our help. It is a medical problem. We do not throw people in jail for being in a wheelchair. And if we made wheelchairs illegal and people had to barter and steal to get them, would we then be justified in throwing those people in jail because you obtained your wheelchair illegally? And therefore you are a criminal. Come on, we gotta do better than that as a society. We have to be more warm-hearted than that as a society. It is a medical problem. There is no evidence that it's purely genetic. And genetic means nothing because genes are switched on and off by the environment. We are which needs our compassion, and this has been shown repeatedly. Portugal, decriminalized drug use over 10 years ago. Have you read about it much? No. Because we're in the middle of a medieval witch hunt. We're in the middle of persecuting the persecuted, of attacking victims. Weren't you always told, don't blame the victim? When you were growing up, don't attack the victim, don't blame the victim. People who are self-medicating through opiates and through stimulants are self-medicating. How can we persecute them when they are the victims of horrendous childhood experiences? And you can, don't take my word for it. You can go and look all this stuff up. I'm no doctor, but this is as far as I understand. And I've actually interviewed Gabor Mate on my show, and this stuff is all very clear. Somebody has a brain tumor and does something wrong, we don't throw that person in jail. We understand that the brain was negatively affected by the tumor, and we treat that person. We do not throw that person in jail. How is it different for very clear medical injuries that just aren't quite as obvious to the eye? So all these libertarian questions, like a man's dying of thirst, he steals water. Is that wrong? Well, these people are in genuine physical agony, and they are taking some medication because we've made it so illegal that they have to steal 10 times its value to pay for the habit. Let's do better. Let's show compassion where there was trauma. Thank you.